very excited to be talking about dependency injection with Layla. She was at VS Live Nashville with me, and she did a talk on, I think it was her ASP.NET for tips for experts talk, and she like went into dependency injection, and afterwards she was like talking to one of the people who attendees, and she was talking like all this voodoo magic, and I was like, we need to like rewind and have you go a little bit slower for me. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I am so excited to like I'm worried that we're going to go a bit slow for our viewers, but I wanted you to, because you were explaining dependency injection in the hallway, something in regards to dependency injection, but I would love to like witness it. Like,
oh yes, because I
to
was talking
see what you're
about
talking
how
about.
to do inject IEnumerables. That's what we
Which
were
is
talking
like
about.
a fancy thing, right? Because you said that there is a way to do it without injecting, but it's ghetto or like jank or something.
It's just it doesn't adhere to the open close principle as well. Well, there's different ways you can do it. So I'm very into solid principles. So that's what I kind of do. And do you know what the solid principles are, Alyssa? Okay, so they are a system of designing your software to adhere to solid principles, makes it more testable, maintainable, and just better. So the whole premise of solid just really resonated with me, and it's closely linked with like testing and just good practice, in my opinion. Lots of people don't agree with it. So okay, it's an acronym. So the S stands for single responsibility. My goodness, I was like, I know this. So it's the single responsibility principle. So that means that a method or a class or whatever it is only responsible for one thing. Okay, so that means that you keep things nice and tight and concise. Okay, the next one is the open close principle, which means things are open for extension, closed for modification. So that means that once you have written your code, you're not constantly modifying it and potentially breaking it. So you write your code in such a way that you can extend it, but you don't modify it. Okay. I can show you that, because that will show you why we use the IEnumerable injected collection of IEnumerables. Okay, because that will be either, you can call it the rule set or the strategy pattern to rather than a switch statement. Okay. And none of these are .NET specific. Okay, these are principles that were developed in the 80s, I think. The solid principles came about. So okay, so that's S and O, and then we have L, which is the Liskov.
Is that someone's last name?
Liskov, yeah, yes, it was a woman. Her surname is Liskov, and it is I can't remember the second bit of it, but I can tell you what it is. So that it has escaped my brain.
Hang on. Solid develop
Liskov.
principles.
Oh my goodness. It has Liskov.
Acronym 5 key design principles. Liskov substitution principle?
Yes, okay. So that is one of the reasons why we have interfaces in C#. Okay, so thank you, Loka. So thank you, everybody, just like shouting at me. It's late here. It's been a long day, you know. Okay, so
yeah, obviously Liskov substitution principle.
Duh. Okay. So that means that any interface that you have, you can substitute any other implementation of it. So that means if I have let's say an interface that's going to send a message to someone, I can test that interface. I can implement, I can use that interface in something, I can inject it, and then I can use multiple implementations of that. So let's say I have an SMS implementation of iMessage, or I have an email implementation of iMessage. I can substitute those for each other without changing anything, without modifying my code, it will behave as expected. It will just do something different. Now I can show you all of that. We could probably do a whole stream on solid principles.
I was gonna say,
So
you can
it's
do
very,
all of this. You know how to do all of this.
yeah, and I can show you today because it's all sort of closely related to dependency injection as well.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh, I'm
there's
so
my
excited to
comments.
see
Okay.
it. I can't wait.
So you can do all of that. Yes, so Thindle says without needing to rewrite beyond that little piece. So you just change the implementation or you update your IOC container. So I'll show you all of that. That's the IOC, stands for inversion of control, and which leads us nicely onto the I, which is the integrate. People always think it stands for dependency in injection. Okay, the I, it's not. It's oh my god, why is
Wait,
that?
I had it up.
And it's the
Interface segregation
into
principle.
I had it and then it just left my brain. What have you done to my brain?
I
I never had
actually
this problem.
swapped with you and then threw yours out, so we both have my brain today.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
I know, right?
So the interface segregation principle means that rather than having one big interface, you can implement multiple interfaces to build up the instance or the concrete class that you want from multiple interfaces. So an interface should be the smallest amount of properties or methods required, so it can
Is
be
this because they were
used as
getting
much.
too chunky? Like,
So it means, so I used to see it, it used to be a really bad code smell. So you'd implement an interface and then you'd have a whole load of methods that you didn't need for that particular implementation. So you would see it throw not implemented in the bottom there. So what you should do is break your interfaces up into smaller chunks, and then to get all of that functionality that you had in the big interface, you would maybe implement two interfaces, because in C# you can implement multiple interfaces on a class. Okay.
like you've always been able to do this, or this was like new?
You've always been able to do that, as far as I
Okay.
remember. As long as I've been doing C#, you've been able to do that, which is more than a decade. So you've always been able to do that.
Brag much.
So, and then the last one is dependency inversion, which is the dependency injection. Okay, so you invert your dependencies, you take those dependencies out of your class. So what we could do is, a lot of these principles I can show you, and it's a very valid reason for using dependency injection as well in C#, and it's built out the box. So I don't know what your dependency injection is like for in Angular. So what do you use dependency injection for?
For it sounds kind of like the same thing, and I have heard of solid before, but never like I live and die by it. So I'm wondering if it's just like more popular in the .NET world, or if I just avoid testing like the plague, and so therefore have not. But it's commonly to, like, if I need access to something, I will inject it into my little instance, my little class or my module, and then have my own version of it, right? So like, but I never really thought of it as far as like, or you like, the answer is always to use dependency injection, I thought. So that's why whenever you're like, oh, or we could do it this other way, and I was like, we could.
So yeah,
What?
I will show you. Okay.
Okay.
So let me get my screen dummy.
In your talk, because it's like tips for experts.
Oh yeah, let's just open that talk. Let's just do
So
that.
in that talk, when you're when you're teaching that point, is this news to people? Like, what is the need of it that people are like, oh my goodness, that's juicy, I should do that?
So I think if people are coming from frameworks, so let's go back. All right, we got built-in dependency injection in .NET Core, so that was like 2015-ish. Okay, before that, let me just think. Where is this in here? let's go in here and
Mhm.
let's go. Before that, we had to use external libraries. So things like Ninject. Is Castle Windsor, was that dependency injection, folks? Is that right? I can't remember. I only used Ninject. So you had to use a third party one to use. Oh, bye, Thindor. Nice to see you. And let me open this, then we can look in this project. This won't be reset, so we can have a go. So you brain connect. You know, I'm not an evening person, so my brain just goes at this time. So let me just close all of these and we'll start having a look through here. So what was I saying? What was I saying, Alyssa?
You were saying that before 2018, you had Ninject with libraries.
Before .NET Core, you had to use libraries, external ones, and implement it, and that would handle it. But with .NET Core, we got it as part of the framework. So that made it no reason not to use dependency injection. Okay. So let's go and have a look. There's a lot of things that we can have a look, and it's good that this project is ready-made. So I'm going to just increase the size of this. So this is the basics for experts talk I do. And that's what you had. So this is the minimal hosting pattern, which I think I've shown you before, which means it's just means there's less fluff. It's quicker to get
Is this
in.
the one where you make like another file and you have those in there, and then you're like
That's the
including
extension methods.
Oh,
So we will look at that, but that's just a way of organizing it. So what this is, if I go and open the other project here, I can just quickly explain this to you. If we go up and we go in here, so in .NET 5 and below, you can see here, I don't know if you can see that I had, come on, get bigger. I've got a program and a startup, okay?
yeah.
And now I've only got a program. So this is before they changed it for the minimal hosting pattern and top level statements, okay? So top level statements means that if I go into program, that I don't have this. All right, so before top level statements, can you see I have to go and say I have a program. This is the program, the .NET Framework's way of getting into your application. Okay, this is it. It's done by convention. It must have a program, and in that program, it must have a main. Okay, and then this starts to do all the stuff. And then we had this startup file where you would configure all of your application stuff. So this is where you would do your dependency injection and your middleware. Okay, so in .NET 6, they did away with that.
Does it all go into program, or does it?
So you can still do it that way. But what they did was to make it simpler. They got rid of that program and got rid of that main as something you see, and that's behind the scenes, and it just comes straight into this program file now. So it just made it less ceremony, okay? But it's exactly the same stuff happening, and you can still do it that way. So that's what we've got here. We still had like a web application builder, but it's just changed a little bit, and they did that by making it static, and it just comes straight here. So you don't need to worry about that, but it's just, if this looks different to some people, and many people who I give this talk to won't have seen this because they're on older versions of .NET. So this looks like far more like Node.js or Express.js, more like a script than normal classes, because there's no curly braces here at all. I mean, this is really alien, no curly braces. So what we have here, this is a web app. So we have this web application, and we're going to create a builder. So we're going to build our application. So you can see we've got this thing called a web application builder, and that has loads of stuff on it, which is where we're going to start doing our IOC. You can add your configuration.
This app is a .NET web app with
yes,
C# ASP.NET.
This is ASP.NET, yeah.
Okay.
And so this happens to be a web API. Yeah, so this is not got any views. This is just a web API.
But like if you wanted it to, it could, or no?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we could add views. We can add whatever we want to it. Okay. So this one happens to have both controllers and minimal APIs. All right. So have you looked at controllers before?
Maybe a little bit. I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember.
So if controllers have been around a long time, they're part of the MVC model, which I showed you before. So that's
Right.
model view controller. So a controller is the point where all of our API endpoints are. So if we go and look at our controllers, where are the controllers gone?
Are they in the services?
No, they should be in the controllers file. That's a convention.
You're saying the whole file, the whole folder's gone.
Where's the folder? Where's the folder? Okay, so by convention, there should be a controllers folder. I don't know where that's gone. That should be there. There's normally a controllers folder here. So I could reset this thing here. I bet you if I go and look in Git, what did we get? Yeah, look, there it is. Undo. Bring it back.
What?
There it is.
Weird, but also, okay, so you have your controllers and your...
Okay, so there's my controllers thing.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
scratch my eye. 1 second. Okay.
It was from some fiend came in.
It was
stole
removed. Outrageous. It wasn't me going delete, 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 like I normally do. So we have a controller, okay, and this is like your endpoint, your API. So this has your root. I show other stuff in here, so it's not, here is our endpoint. So to get to this, the URL would be whatever our URL is. So let's just say localhost / you can see here it's saying the controller. So that would be waffle order. All right, because you lop off the controller, it's all by convention.
Yes.
So this would be localhost / waffle order. And then because I'm adhering to REST and verbs, this would be the get. Okay, and then I have a post. So you would differentiate which one it is by the verb.
And that ploplet param is like, I'm going to use you. You're now available.
Yes.
But like, you can't just slap it at the top of the file. You have to put it right before the function.
This one here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's denoting that this particular method is the get method. Now we could do it. This is the way you can still do it, and this is how you do it in an MVC application. But it would, in an API, it would be bad practice. So you can have a public async action result.
Wait, this is bad practice in an API because of solid?
No, because we should be adhering to REST proper design by having so this could be my orders, or it could be called get orders. A get order by ID, let's say that, and then that would take an ID, like an int ID, and it would return an action result with the ID. Okay, so whatever that would be, return.
Can you do dependency injection in this file, or is that heresy?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we absolutely have to do. Okay.
You have to. Okay.
So this now would be a different route, because this is the get, and this one here, I might go mad at me. I might be saying
because you have two gets.
It might be, but it shouldn't be a
but since it's like a different name, isn't that fine?
Yeah, so the root, it is fine, but this one now, you would have the root of this would be you see how that one's options. This would actually be get, you could set whatever it is, get order by ID. You could be like you can set this however you want. I still don't know why that is. Just go away, go. Okay. So you can do that. So this would be like not the ideal way of doing it in API. It's still fine, but it goes against like the idea of REST. Okay. So that's why you wouldn't do it this way. This is the way we always used to do it, but then you could do it this way by just using your HTTP verb to go to it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, this is totally the way you would, well, even then, that would be a, forget it. We'll do MVC in another one. I don't want to confuse you with MVC or myself, because I haven't done MVC for ages. But you would have lots of different actions, and you would get them by their name in an MVC, because it's a view, not an API controller.
Okay.
So let me just get rid of that. And so this one uses controller base, and an MV. You can see this is API controller. So this is very specific to an API, whereas you can have a view controller, which wouldn't have this here, and it would probably just implement controller, which itself implements controller base.
And the view
But it,
controller is like, I'm imagining it's like a service in Angular where it's like got the calls to the API that are abstracted, because it's like, it's not the actual API. It's just like, this is us
yeah,
getting the data, and that's giving it to the view, and the view's calling
yeah.
that method.
So it's closely coupled with the view. So it's what it serves the page, and all the data on the page. And if you
Oh,
post from the page, it takes the post from the page.
the view controller is serving the actual page.
Yes, that will serve the page.
Oh, so it's much more involved
Yeah.
than I imagined. Okay.
Yeah. So it actually will serve the page,
Okay.
and it will take the post from the page and everything. It's an active web page. Whereas this is like the, just an API that you would call, and you can mix them both inside an MVC application. You can have your view controller. I'm going to call it a view controller. It's still just a controller.
Okay.
But I'll to differentiate, I'll call it a view controller, and that will dish up your pages. But you can also have API controllers in there that you could make requests to from your JavaScript on your view page, for example. So if you had some JavaScript and you needed to dynamically load some data onto your page, or update something, or do a dynamic search, you could call the API controller, and it's completely unrelated from the view controller.
Okay.
All right. So that's our controller. So we can add controllers. So this is the service here. This is our IOC, our inversion of control container, or our dependency injection container, and that's called iService collection. But in .NET, it holds a lot more than the stuff we stick in it. So it has everything we need for controllers if we want
Like, because it
controllers.
inherits the other stuff, or why is it holding more than we?
Because that's how this comes with the framework. Okay, so I don't think I can navigate. I can. So this is going to add all the controllers and set it up. I've never looked in here. I don't know what's in here, but it's going to go and look and add all the stuff that you would need to manually add to build controllers. You see, so it's doing MVC, and it's adding a whole load of stuff. So if you want to use controllers, you as your developer just needs to add controllers to it. Now, if we wanted to
When
use
you
Razor
create
pages,
an app, does it say, like, when you generate an app, does it say, do you want controllers? And you're like, yes.
yeah,
And then it like
it does.
does this for you, or you have
Yep,
to like remember?
it will do it for you.
Oh, okay.
I can show you that in a second. So if I wanted Razor pages, I can go add Razor pages. Okay.
Okay.
So that's another type of view thing.
And that's now available anywhere in this application?
That's available anywhere in this application. So we can now go put a folder called pages, because again, it's via convention. So we would need a folder called pages over here for it to dish up. Okay.
This convention is like, it's grouped by features-ish, kind of.
It's sort of, kind of. It's just, that's how it knows where to go and look for stuff, and it has a hierarchy of looking for things as well.
Okay.
So it's best to do it via convention, because it will make it faster, and it makes it easy for anyone picking it up to understand.
Would your app yell at you if you broke convention, or is it just going to let it happen?
It might not be able to find it, and you might have to manually handle the routing of it. So if I go and let me get another instance of Visual Studio up, and I'll just show you. So if I go create a new project, can I make this bigger? I can't make this bigger. So let's have a look. I have a ASP.NET Core Web API over here. Okay, so if I go through here, that it's this next one. So you can see here, it says use controllers, uncheck to use minimal APIs. So you can use either or. And here, do you see it says do not use top level statements? So that would make it look like the old one with the program and the main method.
But so you can, do you use both though? Like controllers and minimal APIs, or is it really
you can
actually
totally use both. Yeah.
Oh, do you personally?
Yeah, if it needs to, and I can explain why I do that as well as we go. So I'm just going to close this one. Or go back so I can show you just the other thing. Now, if we go web app,
this one has views, right?
This will be in MVC. So
if I made the other one and then I was like, but wait, I can like turn it into this
turn
one?
it into it. Okay. Yeah. So that web app, I don't know if that's going to be controller. Let me do a thing. So MVC. Yes. Okay. So here you go. Here, that one would have been Razor Pages, and this one would be MVC. Okay.
It's weird talking about Razor Pages like that though, because it's very strongly associated with like Blazor apps.
Yeah, but that's because Razor Pages has been around a lot longer than Blazor.
They have?
Yeah, they've been around since, I don't know, they were in framework. So
shut up. You're like blowing my mind. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So they just mean view, and Blazor was like, yeah, that's what we're going to use to make our view.
They used it because it's using the Razor language.
And so MVC, but what does MVC use then?
Okay, you can, right, let's see. So you use C#, and then Razor is the .NET version of code, like C# in the browser. Okay. So that's what Razor is. So you will have that as mixed in with HTML. That's why you see it inside stuff with HTML, because Razor with the @ sign is like what do you use, like TSX? Is that it? That kind of thing?
So
JSX?
Right. Yes. But you're saying if you do make a web app with MVC, they're not using.
They use Razor.
Oh, they do.
But it doesn't use Razor's a language.
Okay.
But Razor Pages is a specific like pattern. Okay. So we have web API. So that's just no views. That's just straight up APIs. We have MVC. So that's a complete web application with served pages. Okay. And that uses C# in the back end. And then you have views, which are called CSHTML. So that's HTML with C#. And in those, you use Razor. Okay. And then we have Razor Pages, which is a framework. It's another way of serving up web pages. So it's like MVC, but different.
Does that have the .razor file extension or no?
It does. It does it. I think so. I'm not great with Razor. It also has CSHTML. It's so .razor is a Razor component. That's it. So Razor Pages. We're going so off the topic of dependency injection. Let's go look at a Razor Pages. Okay, so Razor Pages, that's just going to be this bad boy over here, ASP Core Web App. So this will be, let me just stick it in the temp. Temp tests. It can go in here. Actually, go up. It can go in the templates. Okay, this is Razor Pages. All right, so I can't remember because I hate Razor Pages and you're making me do them, Alyssa.
You do? Why was one hating? Oh, because they're not as cool or something?
I just don't like them. I don't. No, remember my choice. No, why did I even do that? No, stop. I meant to say no. Remember my choice. No. Oh my God, no.
What? Because now it's gonna
do that every time.
It's open.
Oh,
There's got to be a way in settings to undo, right? You could do it right now.
Right cry. No,
right this
look at it. It's
minute.
doing all the container stuff. Oh my god. Anyway, okay, so this is now a Razor project. Okay, so it still has a program, still the same way, top level statements. Okay, we still have a web application builder, but here you can see we're adding Razor pages to our IOC container. So that is now going to handle everything inside our application to make it understand what Razor pages are. Okay, and if we go and look in here, yeah, they're not Razor pages, they are CSHTML. So here we have the start entry point. So this will look very much like Blazor, okay?
Yep.
But this is CSHTML. So this is our code island of Razor. And we have templates in here. These are all templates. They come with a model. CSHTML needs to have a model that you pass through. And if I open these up, they have code behind,
Right.
just like in Razor. Okay.
Yep.
So you can see that's now CSHTML.cs. And so this now looks like very much like Blazor. Okay. So the thing with like Blazor, it was it sort of uses WebSockets wrapped in Signal-R behind the scenes to keep it updated, and whereas this is just a served web application. Okay,
so everything pre-Blazor in .NET that was web was like served on a like server.
Yes,
and
it was
then
served,
provided, and then now Blazor's like trying to. Does it half and half it, or is it like all?
There's lots of flavors of Blazor. So there's
flavors.
Yeah, well, there's Blazor Server, there's Blazor WASM, there's Blazor Hybrid. There's all different ways. So everything I'm showing you now would be a server serving up your pages. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
So if I was to run this not in freaking Docker. Oh my god, it's going to plate me now.
There's got to be a way to disable the Docker.
Oh, Sir Clipsalot is here with a clip.
Sir Clipsalot.
Sir Clipsalot might know how to do this. So here, this is a served page. So you'll see it will be quite good, but it loads a different page. Okay, and we still use Razor pages in Blazor and MVC because this is going to blow your mind. When you want to use identity in .NET and you're using ASP.NET identity, it scaffolds, so generates code on your behalf, black boxing it into Razor pages. Okay, so you will, if you've ever done anything with identity and ASP.NET, you will have used Razor pages. Okay. Please don't cry, Alyssa. So Clipsalot. Yes.
The round table.
Of course.
I pulled up the clip after screenshotting it and then copying the text because I'm unable to click on links in StreamYard. And it's you clicking that pop-up, making that choice to forever Docker.
Yeah, I figured that was what that clip was going to be about. I didn't even need to watch it. I knew it was going to be that.
So you're welcome. And now we have it for all time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so Razor is a dark hole of death, and we'll just stick to MVC, is what I'm hearing from you. And server-side rendering is always going to be the way. Hashtag Layla's always right. So,
of course, totally right.
Also, right. No, Shirley Deb, we're giving you a square table for today. So
yeah, or an oval. No, in your face. A dodecahedron table.
Yeah, that's the one we want. That's for sure. We got a 3-dimensional table for you. All right.
All right. So here we are. Let's skip over that and let's talk about dependency injection. Yay!
Add dependencies. Is that what you're talking about?
Skip that. Okay.
Oh, what?
That's an extension method. All right. So I don't want to confuse you. Let's go and have a look at life without dependencies. Okay. So, Alyssa, avert your eyes for a moment, please. And I'm going to get rid of. Take a moment. Oh my God, what is she doing? Let's stick that in
Can I
there.
share? Settings, camera. Why are you not offering health
This
camera?
is like a waffle ingredient service, and this is a waffle ingredient service code was. Sorry, everybody. I'm so not sorry. So not sorry.
I'm going to show you. Is this move? How movable? Wow, that is hot. Should a camera be hot? Like, should it be that hot?
It's processing your lovely face.
It's overheating. This is my son always wants to play with these. They are little glass figurines. I'm gonna try not to knock them all over. And I collect them from all around the world when I like travel if I find them. But they have to be small, like because like tiny. Like let me show you. This is a piggy. You know, like that size. You know, not any bigger than that.
I
But
have
you have them? You collect little figures?
I have a Nessie. I did used to have some little glass ones like that. What is your problem? Can that create an instance of the I waffle? Oh, yes, there we go. Duh.
Are you like
Alrighty.
a big fan of waffles? I think waffles are just okay. I don't know.
I like good waffles, light, fluffy waffles. I like Norwegian waffles with sour cream and strawberry jam.
Sour cream on a waffle?
Norwegian style. Okay. They're very good. So they're these big, like flower shaped waffles, quite thin, and then you slap a whole load of sour cream on them. Fjellsnavel is saying, what is it called? There's a wire across my screen. I can't see. Roma. They're so good.
Roma? I don't know how to say the
when I
umlaut on
was
that one.
a child, you see, I used to go, my dad would take me for a waffle. It was the lightest, fluffiest, crispest waffle ever. And it was in the
Like on a
Selfridges.
street cart or like
No,
what?
no, from the Selfridges food hall, darling. So, and they would serve it with fresh cut strawberries, whipped cream, and maple syrup, and it was just the bestest Estes. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anyway. Okay. If we did not have dependency injection, this is what we would have. Okay. So
we're still in program.
Okay. Don't worry about where we are. We're just in a method. Okay. We would have to new it up. All right. We'd have to new up all of our. This is the one we want. Go away. This WCS. That's the one we actually want. Okay. So we have to new it up.
Yeah.
But that has a dependency on the waffle ingredient service. So guess what? We have to new that up. And that has a dependency on the client. And we have to new that up. So now I've just stuck all of this code in here. Now, if I came to test this.
Yeah.
And it failed, I wouldn't know, was it failing in the waffle ingredient service? Was it failing in the client? So this has now broken my single responsibility principle, okay? Because this method is now responsible for creating a client, for creating a waffle ingredient service, for creating a waffle creation service, and then doing some stuff and returning some data. So that's a whole load of stuff that this method is now responsible for.
The proper way would then to be create a method that news up client, create a method that news up waffle ingredient service, and then create a method that news up waffle.
You could do it, but this here is a method itself. It's a constructor, so maybe it's erroring inside the constructor. Who knows? Who knows? So it's much better if we hand this all over and we invert the control and pass this all off to our inversion of control container and let the framework, well, the IOC, handle the life cycle. Because let's just say this client is creating a connection external. If I close this app, I've got this new client. I haven't disposed of it. So what you might see quite often in apps is you bleepity bleep bleep bleep. You might see this, okay? So a using, you might see it just like that, or you might see it like so. So you can see a client done like that, and then we move everything in. All right. So what happens here? And now this is going to be upset because now this is scoped. So I've now scoped
That looks
to
fancy.
this. This is not fancy. This is old, and we don't like to do it this way now. Okay. So what this does is this is going to create my client for me. And when it's finished this running this code, it's going to dispose of it. Okay.
Okay.
So because this HTTP client, if we go and look, should somewhere along the line implement iDisposable. Which might be maybe quite, there it is, iDisposable. Okay. So right up its inheritance tree, it's implementing iDisposable.
Right.
Now, anything that implements iDisposable means that it's opening a connection that on the app shutdown, you want to sever that connection. Okay.
Right.
So I really don't want to do this because now I'm going to have to like use a destructor or like client.dispose, you know?
I thought like with using the usings,
Yeah.
that the framework would handle the
It
disposing.
does, but you have to remember to do that. And then, you know, what if it's doing loads? It's going to create this all the time, okay? And it may, you know, you may not want to scope it so tightly. So now I'm going to create it and now I'm going to dispose of it, okay? So I'm having to manually do this. So because it's implements iDisposable, I can dispose of it, all right? So, you know, there's lots of reasons why you might not want to handle this yourself, especially with an HTTP client. All right. I'm sorry, I could talk for hours about this. We could be here a while.
How do you inject it?
I'm going to show you now, young Padawan. I've been playing Star Wars Jedi Survivor, so everything now is going to be like Star Wars.
It's perfect. Also,
Yeah,
Sir Clipsalot is at it again. Any guesses to what he clipped?
I don't even want to know this.
Oh
what is
God.
he clipped, Alyssa?
I'll find out. That was me reading your URL. Watch as I take a screenshot of your.
Oh my goodness.
Listen, what is that? Oh, ORTC? That like you can
Oh my
grab...
goodness. I will just do it, Alyssa.
I did it. I pulled it up. I'm there. Oh, it's right when you started using the using.
Oh, okay. What is this fancy schmancy stuff? Is that
but it's kind of you cussing about it. It was like right whenever it like auto completed.
That, of course it was. Silly me, of course. Okay.
24-hour drunk stream?
No.
Is this a thing? Also,
No.
I don't think you can stay drunk for 24 hours. I think that's impossible.
I attempted it really well in Romania. I think we all did. We were just drunk the whole time.
A, that's a weird place to attempt it. B, did it work out for you?
Yeah, I didn't have a hangover the whole time. It was great.
But just after, I don't think.
No, I just didn't get a hangover. I don't know what it was. None of us got it. Well, apart from one speaker, he got a hangover and couldn't go on the road trip to Moldova the next day. But the rest of us were pretty much drunk the whole time, I think, because the amount we drank every night just floated us on through.
That is funny.
I drank more in Romania than like forever. Well, no, Alyssa's going to answer that one because you'll need a framework. Such as Angular to do it.
Not only will you need a framework, you'll need a framework that supports it, because there's a lot of them that are like, who is this dependency injection? And that's one of the reasons that like Angular is superior to the other JavaScript frameworks.
Yeah.
And watch me get hell for saying that, but whatever.
That's fine. It's so Angular is a framework, and if people go React, well, React is a library. It's not a framework, and it doesn't support dependency injection. So you know that I stepped in for you, Alyssa. It's okay. It's okay. So,
oh God, you have a beer in your fridge for a month. Is it? Tell me it's like an open beer that you like poured in a glass and it's been sitting.
Sips. So Clipsalot takes lots of sips a lot.
Sips a lot. Okay, so DI.
We're gonna DI this.
You're gonna have to shove it into maybe your async because he's got parentheses. So let's shove it in there.
So this is a constructor. Okay, this is
Okay.
gonna let's just come out of this for now.
Which
Okay, I
sounds
was gonna do
exactly
that.
like what we need. We need to
All
shove
right,
it in
so
the
here we go.
constructor.
Here we go. All right. So we could have
Where are
mewed
we?
up this. I've just gone into a service, okay, because it's more classic looking. All right. So this method needs HTTP client. So let's just imagine I had gone HTTP client.
That's
Bottles that
disappointing.
have opened. What's
Sir
the
sips a
problem?
lot.
It's not open. Pooey. Okay. So is equal to new. All right. So I've got, that's what I would have been using, or
Right.
disposal and
That's what
stuff like
we
that.
apparently
Okay.
loathe doing.
Yeah. All right. Now, let's just say I did it with a var. Okay. Not var, using. All right. So this was
Yes, the cool using.
Ah. So there was, it started by having brackets, and then they introduced it that you could just do using, and it would dispose it at the end of all the requests. Okay, so
Okay.
now this is going to dispose of it, but we have a
That is
problem.
so slick. I don't know why you guys stopped using that. It disposes of
Because
itself. It doesn't have brackets. You get to type the cool word of using. Like,
because we got something so much cooler called the HTTP client factory. Whoop whoop.
yeah, you're gonna have to show me.
So
She's not selling herself.
we got this awesome thing called the HTTP client factory back in
Mhm.
like 2017, maybe somewhere around 2018 perhaps. And what this does is it manages all your HTTP clients for you. It will create them, it will reuse them, it will dispose of them, and it does it all for you. And it's great because if you have a really high scale app and you're creating loads of clients, you can get something called socket exhaustion. You can create too many clients that you run out of sockets. It's a big number, but if you have a lot of requests and every time something's getting called, you're
Yeah.
creating a new client, and then you have to wait for the garbage collector to come and dispose of this. I mean, this isn't disposed of immediately at the end. It's like, hey, garbage collector, can I take my trash, please? And it would be like, yeah, get into it. Yeah. And it will come and it will pick up the trash and it will take it out. Okay. And it will deal with it. All right. So generally you might not have a problem, but let's just get rid of this. Okay. So what we're going to do now is constructor injection. So that's happening here. So this is my constructor for my service. All right. And you can see that I am going to pass it everything I want the IOC container to deal with. So in this case, it's just an HTTP client. So you can give that to me. Now, this makes this a very special service, but we'll go into that later, perhaps. We'll see. Okay.
Because
So
we're doing dependency injection, or
no,
because
because this has injects an HTTP client. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So this is a special thing now, but just forget that about that. All right. We now need this HTTP client. Now, if I was to run this,
It's like making your own little version of it, right? And now you can like
Yeah.
use your underscore and
exactly.
stuff.
I'm
Yeah.
copying this to my private read only. So this means that I'm going to inject this in, and now I'm going to assign it to this client, which I can use everywhere else.
Was that line 8 always there, or did you just pop it into existence?
It was always there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I scrolled down.
Okay,
All right.
so are you using underscore HTTP client later? Oh yeah,
Yes,
down there. I
down
see a
here.
wait.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, yeah.
All right. So now we need HTTP client. So let's go and have a look at
Wait,
how.
was HTTP client the one that you needed to new up client and some other borough?
Well, that was here. I needed this waffle ingredient service. So I had a whole
client
load.
and ingredient
Okay.
service. So like you're not doing that now?
No, this is this was just to show you like how we don't want to do it. Okay.
Right. But within
All right.
dependency injection and like you're over here now in your service, you really don't, because I thought you were gonna have to like make one for each of those.
No.
Like inject client and inject
No. We can put as many things in this constructor as we want. Okay. We can absolutely load this constructor with everything we need. Why you'd want to do that? Well, so let's go and let's go and add some dependencies. Okay, so
Okay.
remember I said this was our IOC container. So we can add our dependencies into here. All right, so we go builder.services. And the first one I want to add is my HTTP client. Yeah. Now,
Yes.
HTTP client is a special one that we can go and add like so. And this will use under the hood HTTP client factory. It doesn't, you see, there you go.
Yes.
It
Yes.
extends iService collection, but it adds the iHTTP client factory and related services. Okay.
Do we have to
So,
do this step?
yes, because you need
Oh,
an HTTP client. Okay. So
okay.
this is if you, okay. All right. You don't.
What?
If you don't want to use the HTTP client factory, but
No, we
why
do.
wouldn't
We do
you?
want to, but like I just thought we took care of everything we needed to do with a dependency
No.
injection in the service, but now we're over in our program and
No,
I'm like,
no, no,
why
no. This
why
is
are
just
we over
saying
here?
we haven't added this to our IOC container. Okay. We're just saying I need this dependency, but our container, our big box of tools goes, I don't have this.
Okay.
So let's go and I'll show you what happens. Okay. Let's not add HTTP client and see what happens. Okay. So I'm now going to add a service, that waffle ingredient service. So this is going to be add. Let's add it as a singleton just because that's like the most basic. So we're going to add, that's waffle creation
This is
service.
so that like when our app bootstraps, it like knows about it, is what you're doing?
So, all right. I am now asking my app to create an instance on startup of waffle creation service. Go and create that for me. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's going to create that. Now remember that waffle creation service has a dependency. No,
Of
we're not
HTTP
going to do that
client.
one. We're going to do waffle ingredient service. Okay. All right.
You're,
So I'm asking for waffle ingredient service, and that's the one that has a dependency on HTTP client. All right. But I'm not going to add HTTP client so we can see what happens. All right.
yes. Yes.
So what do you think will happen?
I mean, you said an error, but I don't even know what an error would look like in this app. Like I don't know if it's gonna like
What
run and
does
then
waffle
error
ingredient service need? What did we just determine that it needed?
that service.
This client, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Because to construct this, which is what we're asking the IOC to do,
Yeah.
it needs an HTTP client, but we haven't given it one. So let's go and run it.
Does it tell you what's the actual, does it tell you what's wrong?
Oh, that's another one. It didn't even get there. It didn't compile. Okay.
What? What? Who's it angry at?
Let's just
Because
do
of that?
that. And then it
Um,
was in here. It didn't like my.
that's because it's
No.
rude.
Okay. Let's go. All right. So it's going to be a runtime error. Okay. So it compiled, but we got a runtime error.
Did it?
And
Where is our error? I don't see any errors.
here's the error. So it says some services are not able to be constructed. Okay.
Uh-huh.
It says we didn't have HTTP client. I'm like, I need HTTP client. I can't construct this. Okay.
So you need, so in your program, you're just going to like provide HTTP client,
Yeah.
but
So
that provides it for your whole app, right?
that provides it for my whole app. Okay.
Isn't that like are we not worried about that?
No.
Do we have like how many would you say, like, do you have a lot that you provide at this level for everything? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Everything.
Yeah.
So we could add it manually, but we're going to just, I don't even want to show you that because I don't want to even give you the idea that you could do that. We're just going to use the HTTP client.
Builder, services, add client. And this is right before our singleton because it matters, or does it not
Doesn't
matter?
matter the order here. I could put it after. Okay.
Okay. And then is that all you have to do to provide it, or does it have to?
Yeah. Now I'm saying, hey, can you go and make me some HTTP clients?
The builder.services seems redundant. Can you like get rid of that or no?
No.
Okay.
Okay. So
did it work? Did it run?
I got an error for something else, but don't
Oh,
worry about that. That was from the controller over
but it
here.
got past
It's
the.
fine.
Okay.
It wasn't getting this is asking for some other stuff. So this here, so and it doesn't have that. So it was erroring elsewhere. So don't worry. But you can see it got past this.
Okay.
Okay. So what was your question before that?
I don't know. All I can think of is my question now about like if you is that the only thing our service needs is the HTTP client because it's the only thing we're using
Yeah.
right now. And then so we use dependency injection in our controller.
Oh, I remember what you said.
What did I say?
Could you get rid of this?
Oh yeah. But you said no.
Because this is our web application.
But can't you just be like make a shortcut or something, you know?
That's
Okay.
what I do
You do it? Where? What are you talking
in
about?
my extensions. So I go and make my own extension methods, but you can't get past this. We have a builder, okay? We're making a web application builder, and we're adding all of our dependencies to it, and then we go and say, okay, build my app. Now I have a web application, okay? So basically, I'm getting all my bricks, my construction bricks, and putting them all in my box,
Right.
ready to go and build my web app. Okay. So the builder is my box. Well, builder.services is my box of things that my web application is going to need to run. Okay. So we could go, if you really wanted to, you could go.
Good to see you, Napalm.
Hey, Napalm. You could go services is equal to builder.services. Okay. Like if you really wanted to.
Okay.
And then you could go like services. But
Okay. I see.
I think that's really unnecessary. And you'd be creating an instance. And I don't know if you'd be adding it properly because is it a reference? Is it just no. Okay.
Okay.
Just accept that you're going to have to add a lot of things to builder.services, which is why I do it the other way. But we're not going into that today. Okay. So now I've added this, and you didn't ask me about what a singleton in this case was.
You said it was like a little isolated instance of it.
So
right? Isn't that what you said?
have it's a life cycle. Okay. So we have 3 different life cycles of things that we can add to our IOC container. Okay.
What are they?
So we have singleton. That means that it's created once on application startup, just one instance, a single instance. Okay. Then we have scoped, which means we create one for the lifetime of the request and then dispose of it. And then we have transient, which is where we create an instance for every time it's asked. I can show you that if you like. Would you like to see that in action?
Yeah. What is it? Add transient? What would it look like? Like
I'm going to show
add
you.
scoped? Yeah. That doesn't sound right.
Okay, so let's go. I don't have it in this project. That's annoying. Okay, so let me see if I can get another instance of this project down from GitHub.
It's kind of like, because we have life cycles in Angular too, which is obviously heavily tied to dependency injection, but there's this like, I guess, code smell of when you start to mess too fine-tunely with life cycles, like, and not letting the framework handle it, that maybe you're doing it wrong.
This is us letting the framework deal with it, but there's just different ways. There's 3 like ways that you can tell the framework to deal with it. Let me just have a quick look.
On these conventions that you're talking about, do you just like have them memorized, or is there like docs that say like put them in a controllers folder? Like, how did you?
That is just convention. That's all in the documentation. So that is definitely how it's done. All right. I have that on my Mac. I should just push it. I could push
Napalm said thanks for yarping. Isn't that like isn't that a gamer thing? What is
That's a LARP. So YARP is yet another reverse proxy. And I wrote a blog on how to use YARP, which is a reverse proxy. And Napalm used it last night. So, all right, Alyssa, I am going to show you life cycles. Okay. I don't need to, I could do this in a console app. Am I going to regret doing this? Life cycles. Okay.
Is it doing it? Did it make it? Is it happening? Ooh.
There it goes.
Okay.
I am going to regret doing this. We're not going to do it that. I knew I was going to want to do it in a web app because it
Is
has
this like how much you're going to regret the whole Docker decision, or like less than that?
less than that.
Less than
A
that.
lot less than the whole Docker. Okay, so we are now going to do a web app. DI life cycles, life choices would be a better name for this right now. Okay, so all right, let's go. All right, so let us go and have a look. Oh, look, is it doing bloody? It's doing container stuff.
But did you know you can develop with containers?
My God.
Hey, there's a little Docker drop down right there. Can you like go to that drop down and say stop it? Like a configure
No,
startup.
I can't.
No, go back.
I can't.
No? It had a
No,
configure startup on that drop. Yeah. Configure startup projects.
that's just which one starts.
It's not going to be like,
not going
uncheck
to
the
be
Docker
like-
forever thing.
It's not.
I thought it would be here.
It's
I thought it
not.
would let you take it away.
I'm just going to have to uninstall Visual Studio and reinstall it. That's the only answer. Okay.
Layla, that cannot freaking be the only answer.
It's the only answer.
Well, all right.
Right. So let's do life cycles because this is really quite important. So we're going to create something that is going to generate some random numbers. Okay. So I'm going to create a class. We'll just call this random service. All right. So in here, we are going to create a method. So let's go and have a public. Let's just have a list of int. Oh my God. Like, how big are all this IntelliSense stuff?
It is. It's some chunky IntelliSense.
How? Get
It's
numbers.
definitely like twice as big as your normal font, which is an odd choice.
God. And it's like filling the entire screen.
Did you mean this?
I don't know because I can't see anything anymore. My goodness. All right, so we're going to have our rand is equal to new random. All right, so then we are going to get, how do I do this? Rand dot next, and then we're going to go through 0 and let's do 10. Out loud, get out of their way. And let's just go, that's right, isn't it? And then, oh my goodness. Okay, like take a chill pill, Visual Studio. Okay, I cannot deal with this anymore. Environment, I cannot deal with it.
It's got to be a...
It's fine, I know how to fix this.
Yeah. Are you going to disable all of them?
I'm just gonna have like a major meltdown. Oh, for crying out say loud. Okay, so we're gonna go here. We're looking for environment, and it is way too messy. So we're just gonna like scale it back.
Does it actually think that's 12? Because that's not 12.
No, that changed this one, not that one. Oh my God, it didn't change the IntelliSense. I hate my life.
Is it just because you're Command Plus? Is that why it's
No, it's not that. So we're just going to put that back up to 14 so I can actually see the round stuff. And then it's going to be, what do they call it? It's the tips. Printer colon statement complete editor tooltip.
You think
Yes.
that's it? Yeah?
Yes.
16. Oh my God, you're right.
Okay. All right. So
Did it work?
now
Did it work? Did it work?
I don't know. No, it's a little bit smaller. I think
That's
it's
smaller.
less in my face. Okay, so now we're gonna go. Is that? Can I say that's a? Is that a bar?
Is random like a random like math.random kind of thing?
Yes. So it's gonna get us a whole load of things. All right. So now we've got some random numbers, and then we are gonna go. I can't even remember
Wouldn't
how
it
to
be
do
fun to have like a random type and you can like type something as random and it's just like, what are we gonna get today? You know?
I can't. This is going to be like the most like for. I don't know. Oh my goodness, this is. I can't even think. This is going to be a for loop. I can't. I like.
Ooh.
This is right way too.
Does it not autocomplete for when you like for and then tab?
No. Why would it want to do that? It's like what? It wouldn't want to help me. Ran whole dot length. No, we're gonna go 3. No, 3. Oh my god, I can't even do freaking for each line.
Oh, I can do
That's
this.
it.
I can do this. For
Oh my
loop.
god.
C sharp.
I've lost the plot. It's just like completely killed me. I'm gonna
I is less than 5. I plus plus. Statement. No. Which one?
yes, there you go. 3 I plus plus.
Too far. On the this one it says int I equals 0, and then the next one is I is less than 10.
Oh
So
my god. Like it's fine. I is less than 3. Is that it? Is that it? And that needs to be a semicolon. Oh my goodness, this is just like kill me now. Take away my like developer.
it's weird.
part.
Like it like puts your pluses into one big double
It's called a
plus.
ligature. like I want it one around my neck right now. Because
did you see The Little Mermaid?
Why would I want to see that? I saw someone send me.
I
saw
literally
no.
It's because
singing.
it's singing, isn't it? It's singing, and you hate
singing.
musicals. I literally
hate
had that
singing.
thought of like, she's not going to see this because it's basically a musical. Okay.
So it's just not going to happen. Okay, this is like vowels. Oh my god, this is just so. Yes, thank you. That's exactly what I wanted. Vowels dot add.
Lebo said, by the way, you have I is greater than 3 instead of I is less than 3. I don't.
Thank you. That way.
Thanks, darling.
Thank you, Levo, because this is just like vowels dot add rand. I don't know. I. There we go. Is that it? Is that what I wanted? No. I don't even know anymore. I don't like my brain has just gone. I don't even know what I'm trying to do. You know, I'm going to look at what I made earlier. Let's go. You like my new laptop cover? Isn't it lovely?
Ooh. And also, you're not streaming on your laptop?
No. Why would I stream on my laptop? I don't have a death wish. So what am I doing? Code. I am so just like my brain has gone to sleep.
I know. I'm sorry. We can wrap soon. I feel so bad.
No, it's
your
fine.
nighttime.
Do not feel bad. I'm just annoyed at myself for being so rubbish. Let's see.
I'm so excited about what's it?
Books. That's what you're excited about.
Crossbreed. Yeah, I gotta go download me some Crossbreed.
All right, here we go. Now I had this lovely. Yeah, I've got it in here. I should have just pushed this. Here we go. Oh, okay. I did it much nicer way. There we go. Oh, so much nicer. This was a dumpster fire. Goodbye. I equals 3. Okay, while I is greater than 0. Is that right? Yeah, here we go. This is it. The next. Actually, we can just do it all in one line. we have, I need that list. Where's that list? This needs to be in the constructor. That's why. Okay. So I'm glad I looked at this because we need a private. Do you know what? Like, I'm just going to Slack this to myself.
I was
One
going to say,
second.
can we copy? Although I
Yeah,
guess.
just give me a second and I shall Slack it to myself. Slack it to myself.
It's the best
Singing is
song.
fine when I'm doing the singing, by the way, just in case anyone was wondering about that. Absolutely. Oh,
It's just so good. I'm really struggling with this like difference between us because the singing was
You just
so
have to
good.
accept it. You just have to accept it.
She is a good singer. It's not fair for her to hate musicals.
I am not a good singer.
Chat
Jim
disagrees.
says it's like I'm like the worst singer ever. He's so mean to me. I said he's blessed because he lives with me and my beautiful singing voice, and he looks at me like he twitches, and I just don't understand. All right, so now we have a much better bit of code, okay? So let me go and show you why this is better. Because this is created in the constructor. So this number is important, is created when the IOC container does it, okay? Does that make sense?
This number is created when the IOC container
Creates this.
creates
okay.
It.
So what we're going to show is that when you create an instance, the different life cycles. I just rubbed my eyes and I
That's
forgot.
so funny. I don't think I've ever seen I minus minus. How cute is that? That's so cute.
You can totally do I minus minus, like so.
Wait, we're not doing. You said we were going to do the different life.
Yeah,
cycle.
I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you.
But we're not doing. It's not.
We will. I had to get the thing ready. No, you can't stop the countdown of my viewers when I sing.
With the singing, it was funny. It made me laugh.
It's a beautiful. I have such a beautiful singing voice. I will just tell you this one random off-tangent story. I was walking the dogs the other day. Jim and I were walking along, and this like kid's coming behind us with his music playing out loud. Okay,
Yeah,
I just like get a headset, anything. Okay, I'm. And I was like, Jim, be prepared. I am going to dance to this child's music. Okay. I mean, this child, I mean, he was probably like 17. I don't care. Whatever. So he starts to get closer and closer. And the music, I'm like, what weird crap is this he's playing? Hello, Jeff.
What weird crap? What was it?
It was like, it was like some weird synth thing going on. I was like, what is this? I'm going to have to dance to this. Okay. So he gets closer and closer. I'm like, you ready? And Jim's like, oh my God, kill me now. And I started like, whoa. And I'm dancing down the road, leading my dogs. The dogs are like, what is going? And I'm doing twirls. And he's like, this kid is walking past me with his music playing, looking at me like I've grown 7 heads. And then I started to sing, and then I hit that note. Like I held that note and I hit it. I hit a note. I don't know what note. And this child, the 17-year-old, is like, I'm going to walk faster and faster. And I'm just like, if you will play your music out loud, I will dance and sing to it. And it was the weirdest. I've never heard music. It was like
let the people
Space
sing.
Odyssey or something. Weird synth space music he was listening to. I was like, wow.
Dog mom's being weird again.
Yes, dog mom's being weird again. Yeah, they're well used to it. Okay, so let's go and look at this life cycle stuff. All right.
So
while you're still listening.
Hang on, private read-only list. So wait, hold on.
So what we're going to do is remember, this is the constructor. This happens when this instance is created. Okay.
Yep.
So we are going to get 3 random numbers, and we're going to add them to this list that can only be created and updated at when this constructor runs. Okay. I can't change this list because it's read only. Okay. Yeah. So all I have this one method that says, can you return the contents of that list that's created when we construct it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now let us go over to the program and go and add this. All right. So I need to go up here and add.
What are you adding?
This is where I'm going to add the the life
The
cycles.
different instances
Right?
of
So
life
we're going to
cycles.
go builder.services. Now remember I said there were 3, so we're going to do the first one, which is add singleton.
Singleton.
Okay, and then I'm going to go life cycles.
But seriously, I think I'm going to have to make that random type a thing where it returns a random type and you type something as a random type.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
So
singleton.
moving
Yes.
on,
Life
we've
cycle.
now created this as a singleton. So now we're going to use it. Okay.
Yep.
And I happen to have this minimal API down here. Let's go random. Okay. And now you're going to see how I can use a dependency injection in a minimal API. I want life cycles, please. Give me life cycles. Let's call that life cycles 1.
Is
And
map.get, like, was he just there by default? Like, who is
yes,
he?
because
Why
this
is
is
he in
a
our
minimal
lives?
API. This just came. So instead of a controller, I've got this minimal API. So don't worry. This is just going to show up as an API. It's fine. We'll do that on a different day. Just accept that this is an
No, I'm not questioning the minimal part of it. I'm questioning who is this map and why is he here? I did not see you write him, so
I didn't. It came with the template.
return LC. Who is this LC1? Life cycle 1?
I just injected those. So how am I going to do this? Like so. We're going to have new. Da, 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 da. I feel pressured now that Fritz is watching me. Thank goodness he didn't see me butcher the for statement earlier, unless he was stealthily watching and then is like, "Oh my God, this woman. It's fine. It's all good." All right. So we've got
Listen, I don't think as humans we should be responsible for writing for loops. Just saying.
life cycle 1, and we're going to set that. I can't remember if it's colon or equals LC1, and then this is looking really like it's. What is your problem? Oh my God, why is my brain just so not functioning? Do you know what? When you just think, I just cannot, like, I mean, maybe you don't get this. Like, my
Oh no, I
life.
totally get this, but it's only during like live streaming on stage or during interviews.
Exactly. If this was just me, not
Me and
doing
you in a
this,
hallway, yeah.
it'd be
Yeah.
fine. But right now, I'm just like, I have no idea what I'm doing. It's like totally just like, what, huh?
So it's not brackets in here like we usually do?
No, I don't know.
No.
It could be. Who knows? I'm having a look. It might. Who knows at this stage? I'm just
No, just
looking at my code.
so the public knows, you're not looking at a book, you're looking at a laptop.
I'm looking at my code.
Okay.
Yes. Here we go. Oh, I see what I've done wrong. God. This shouldn't be in. This should just be life cycle 1. There we go. Of course, it's not JSON I'm writing. LC1 dot get ints.
I think everyone blacks out and thinks they're in JSON every now and then. So
what was it? It was get ints. Yes. Okay. So it was get ints.
maybe
What is
you
your
did it.
problem? Is that equals? Yay! Okay. Life cycles 2. Oh my
Hey
God.
Schmab, good to see you. And yeah, Napalm was saying it's not JSON, but use a colon. Listen, sir. We got the equals now.
It's working.
Return new. This is like the most funky return line I've ever seen in my whole life.
How to write your code really well, Laura.
Really? The best looking, sexiest return line of your life.
Oh yeah, you're lucky I didn't use a tuple, okay? An anonymous tuple at that. All right, so what I've made is an anonymous model type what's it here, okay? It's anonymous. It's just a thing. It's a container for some code, all right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, all right, so here we go. So what we're doing, we're giving it 2 instances. This is the key thing that's going to show you the life cycles, all right?
But there's 3 that you were going to show me, so I'm a little
Yes,
thrown off. But I'll let it
I'm
go.
showing you one at a time. I can only show you one
Okay.
at a time, okay?
Okay.
So we're going to show you the singleton first,
Okay.
okay? You ready to be wowed? Let's go. Is it going to run it in Docker? Is it going to like ruin my life some more?
Yeah, obviously you said yes, always run it in
Okay.
Docker.
So here we go. So we're going to like try it out. Yay. Let's zoomity zoom. Wowzers. That's big. Okay. Execute. Okay. So remember, I made this a singleton. So what do you think we're going to see now? We've got 2 lists of numbers. What do you think
Okay,
they're going to
so
look
the
like?
singleton you said is like he runs one time.
Is
He doesn't.
created once, one instance on startup.
Do you think it's going to run through and we'll get all of the ints then, or would we only get one int?
So whatever we do, we're going to get a collection of 3 ints, and I've asked
Okay.
for it twice. So what do you think? These 2 lists, are they going to be different numbers, same numbers?
They're
What do you
going to be
think?
different, obviously, right?
Okay.
No?
Why? No, no. Tell me your reasoning.
Well, like, hang on, let's see your code again because you're going through and you're asking for a random
Okay.
number,
So let's go
right?
and have a
So
look. So
that
I'm
random
creating
number would be
on the
different.
constructor. So I only ask for it to create this list once. Okay. So forget about the random number. On startup, this file is going to have a list containing 3 random numbers. So forget how they're created. When this instance is created, it's going to have a list of 3 random numbers.
Oh, and you're saying because it's a singleton, it like just reuses that same instance and is like going to put it twice and they'll be the
So
same
what do you think?
numbers?
Yeah, follow that through. So yeah, you
So
got it.
then 2 sets of the same numbers. And then if you
Yeah.
change it to what scoped, are you still going to get the same numbers?
Wait, no. So this is
296, 296.
this startup.
Okay.
Okay. So what happens when I request this again?
It's
So
not,
this
wait, you, it is the actual same instance, right? Like it's not accidentally
it's the
getting those
same
same.
because it's singleton. Okay. So it's now the
Okay.
same instance. All right. So what I've asked for this instance, I've asked for a life cycle, an instance of life cycle twice. Okay. But I only have the one instance. Okay, because we created a singleton, which is one single instance of that. There can only be one. Okay, so it's going to use that every time. So if I go and refresh this, okay, execute, it's going to be the same numbers. So on startup, my IOC container created an instance of life cycles, and it's now got that one instance, and it will keep that instance until I shut the application down. So every time I request that instance, I will get the same 3 numbers.
So what does scoped do?
Okay, let's go and have a look.
I'm worried it does the same thing.
Let's go and have a look. Okay. So do you remember what I said scoped was?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so scoped is the lifetime of the request. So singleton is the lifetime of the application.
Who's the request?
So that's the request of the whole thing. So this is my request.
Okay.
Okay.
The lifetime of the request. So it would be the same because both instances are in the same request, but if we made a different request, it would be different. But wouldn't it be
No,
wait?
you just answered it. You just answered it. I'm not letting you go. Wait, you just literally answered it.
But does that mean that if we had a singleton and we put like life cycle 1 in the like a request and then life cycle 2 in a different request, it would still be the same numbers?
Yes, because it's a singleton. It's the same instance.
But with scoped, it would be different numbers.
It's going to be different. Okay.
And the third one was some funky name that was really
Yes, we'll
hard
get
to
to that in a
remember.
minute. Let's have a look though. Okay, so let me go and execute this. Okay, so let's prove what you said right. Yeah. All right, 628.
But now
Okay,
you have
they're
to
both the
separate them,
same.
right? To
No,
prove. Yeah, you
no,
guys separate them to prove that scoped is different.
no, because I can just do this.
What?
119. I just made a new request.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You got it? Okay,
Yep.
I'm going to make another request and they're different. But the important thing is both lists are the same. Do you see that?
Because they're in the same call.
Same call. The same request, okay? So it's the same instance per request. So
the
these are both
next one is going to be different?
Yeah. So let's go and do that. So this is now going to be transient. So this is now going to be creating an instance every time I ask for life cycles. Nothing
Okay.
to do with the request. every time I ask for an instance of life cycles, it's going to give me a new one. Okay.
Okay.
So let's just go and restart it.
Does this ever get people in trouble because they picked the wrong one?
Yeah, it can cause problems if you use the wrong type. So there's different ways it can cause you problems. One is you can't have a singleton with a dependency on a scoped or transient.
Wait, hang on. You
So
just said a lot of words that were cool, but they were together. Can't have
So
the
if
same
you have
word.
a singleton,
Mhm.
its dependencies must also be singletons
Oh,
because
because
it's created once at the beginning. So it
right,
has to have those available to it.
and it has to be like those have to be set for it to
Yeah.
be
Now,
created.
if you cannot create those as
Yeah,
singletons,
yeah.
then that one that you has the dependence on them cannot be singleton either.
Okay.
Okay, so
Wait,
let's try it out.
you have to click this drop down. This part always confuses me, and then you have to
Oh,
click.
don't worry. This is just okay. So now you can see
They're
that
different.
was they're different.
Praise your
And they will be different every time. And every time it's requested, life cycle is going to be different.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
it does make sense because I was just about to say, but what if we wrapped it in a singleton, but we can't? So that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
So like we can't change that.
Do you use transient a lot? I've never seen it before.
No, because it's expensive to create it all the time,
Mm.
and kind of unnecessary. I can't think of an example when I would use transient. I use scoped a lot. That's a safe bet. So things where it can bite you is when you use data.
Mhm.
So if you use entity framework, entity framework has like this built-in memory, and if you use a singleton, it won't always go in and get an updated version from the database. Okay, and that causes a problem if you've got multiple instances of your application because they're all updating the data and one single database. Okay, I don't want to go too into this, but that would be a reason why using a singleton would be bad, because the entity framework might not always, it would keep a cache locally and it might
Mm.
not always go back to the database and things like
Right.
that.
No, that honestly is like the scary part of it for me, but you're not worried about that outside
No,
of entity.
because certain things, so if we go back to my other app,
Napalm said that he uses transient a lot in web APIs. It doesn't carry over instances, so we don't run into
yeah,
weird state being maintained.
so yeah, but it is expensive to keep newing that up all the time. Okay, so if I had, let's go and have a look. If I have
What is more rare, would you say? Singletons or transient?
not it's not rare. It really depends on your use case. But like I wouldn't use transient really at all, and Napalm's using transient. So the thing is, I would use a singleton for something. I like to call it like I like to always think about it as a sieve. Okay, if your service is just going to process your data and not retain anything, it can be a singleton. Okay, because it's not, if you've got something that's like multiply whatever you give me by 5, okay, it's acting on the data that passes through it. Okay, whatever number you give to that service, it's just going to multiply by 5. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I can type it out if that would help. Would you
Well, I
prefer to
was
see
just
it
thinking
visually?
of views and like what you're supposed to do because it's
With
you.
views?
Yeah. Like what?
No, it's nothing to do with views.
Okay. So you're multiplying a piece of data by 5, and you're
You
in
don't
that
you
instance.
So let's just go and add a new item. Okay, so this is going to be my multiplier.
Because I was thinking once you then were like, then I want that data to be on a view, but you don't want it to ever be old cached ISK data.
Yeah, so that would be how you would handle it differently, but that's not really to do with DI. So no, not. I mean, I'd have to think about that, but I think that's a different. You're thinking about caching in a different way. Okay, so let's just have a CTOR here, a constructor, and we don't need.
Did you make that shortcut?
Oh, that comes with Visual Studio.
Oh,
That's just out of the box.
fancy.
So let's have a public int multiplier. No, I multiply by 5. Okay.
Yes.
So this is all this does. It's going to take an int incoming and return incoming by 5. Okay. That's all this does. Okay.
Yeah.
This doesn't maintain a state. So if you were using...
Who does maintain a state? Who's like, yeah, I need to hold on to this.
Well, the web is actually kind of stateless. So in this sense, you could be assigning a value to it. So I just want you to think about this service doesn't retain any information. So let's not use the word state, okay? It doesn't retain any information. So there is no need for this to be constantly recreated. Do you see? It's just like you're giving it information, it's acting on that information and passing it on. It doesn't retain any information. Do you see how it
but
doesn't do
if
that?
multiply by 5 is a singleton, and then I'm like, hey, multiply by 5, and then I give it 3, and then I'm like, multiply by 5, and I give it 5. I'm getting different answers out, even though it's a singleton.
Yeah, because the singleton is just the service. It's not this result. Okay, so we can test that. Okay, so let's go and add builder. It's just like going to be a calculator for us. Start add.
Bye, Libo. Have a good night.
Hi, Libo. Thanks for coming out. Nice to see you. Singleton, what did I call it? Multiply.
By 5?
Multiply. Okay, so we've got the multiplier. We just need to... What is your problem? Where is it? Multiplier service. Okay, so we've got this multiplier service. Let's just go down here and create a quick endpoint. Map get. So, I'll do a map host. We're going to have our from services. We're going to have multiplayer service. And then we're going to have...
Is the square brackets instead of a dot?
That's a decorator.
Oh.
So this is... Hang on, I've just totally done this the wrong way. So we just need multiplier. And here, now we need that. I just completely butchered this. Just ignore. So I don't want to go into this to what I've done here, but this is how I'm telling. What is your problem? What is wrong with that? I've obviously spelt it incorrectly. Let me just go down. I can't. Okay. There. From services. All right. So this is...
Oh, you have to have the full thing?
No. So this is telling it, this is from your services, and then we're going to go from body And we're just going to call this int. I probably don't need, if we do this as a post, I'm just trying to think about this. No, we'll just leave that int multiply. Multiply. Oh my goodness. Okay. That was really painful for everyone to watch. I apologize, but it's fine. Okay. So, key. Now we're just going to go and multiply this. So we can go and get return ms dot multiply by 5.
Okay.
And we're going to give it the multiply. Okay.
Yes.
So we've got this. It's getting that service that we've made. And then from the body of the request, it's going to get the number and then return us that. Okay.
Oh my God, it's so fancy.
It's so not fancy. It's so awful. And it's going to be like, oh my God.
What's wrong? Why is it so angry at us? Is this it yelling at us? I think this is it yelling at us.
It's definitely inferred, but does not allow inferred body. Oh, what? What is your problem?
Inferred from body? Is that what it's saying? What?
So what is your problem? Body. Oh, it's not even this method. It's fine. It's this.
Oh, it's a different one?
Honestly, kill me now from
Duca said white screen. It must be angry.
Very angry. Very angry. You just want to. Did you mean to register the body? Prepared. What is
from
your
services
problem?
or from body attribute? Hi, Fendel.
This is from you, isn't it? It's you. You're causing the problems.
Who?
You.
This buddy?
This one's causing the problems.
No, that waffle call would not cause you problems. He promises.
Everyone's causing me. It's WCS. Where is that coming from? Where is it coming from? Body inferred. I hate you all. WCS. That's definitely, it needs a clean. That's what it is. Oh, it's in here.
Who needs a clean?
It's in here.
Who is this clean?
Fine. I know where it's coming from. It's fine. It's all good. It's all good. It's fine. It was none of those. It was something else.
Oh God, with the drop downs and the buttons again.
Oh. Okay, so here we go. We're going to test it out. Try it out.
We are?
Yeah. All right. What do you want to multiply by 5?
3. Did it do it? Wait. What happened? Oh, you have to press execute. And then what?
15.
I'm not used to looking at all of this. Okay.
What do you want to multiply by 5?
Come on, chat. You can do it. I'm an adult. I can clean myself. He's known as Mr. Clean. 13. Did it do it?
65.
So.
Okay, so it's done. All right.
He holds on to no information.
No information at all. So
who holds on to information though? I really cannot think of an example in which somebody, because you're always passing in parameters and it's doing something to that, and then it's passing it on its way. Who's holding on to information?
Let's go and have a look at something. Okay, so I'm going to have a prop. Okay, let's go and say, let's call this last value. Okay. So we're going to say last value is equal to.
She showed me the difference between singleton, scoped, and transient, and now she's saying that like that singletons are fine for things like multiply by 5. Who's holding on to no information? But now I'm making her show me something that would hold on to information and give us a reason not to use the singleton.
Yeah. So if I this is a really bad example. Okay, this doesn't really do it, but this is now going to hang on to some stuff. This doesn't really like keep it. All right. This is going to keep the last value. All right.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So if this is a singleton, okay, I am going to, I need to do something with that last value. Okay.
Fendel said something with an asterisk and equals and incoming.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to change. I just said I had to do something. Is last.
What does the asterisk mean? Always? No.
This is an asterisk, a star.
Oh, he's multiplying it in the equals. Oh.
So last value, we're going to have.
Okay.
So let me just go and set last value equal to.
Why you gotta get all fancy with it? All right, can't we just put our star on a different? No, not you, Thindle. Like, why you gotta like combine the operators? Weird.
Okay. All right. So no, he's saying do something multiplied by. Okay, so we're gonna have.
Are you saying that's not valid syntax?
I have to think 1 second. Okay, the var by 5. I'm just having like a moment. I'm sorry. Okay, so I want to go last value plus by 5. Okay, so we're going to get the last value. Yeah, I'm asking you to put that in. Or we could just return last value. There we go. Let's do it.
Oh.
All right, let me just do this. Okay, so last value is going to be that.
Okay.
This is still not going to work.
But if he was scoped, you're saying it would. What would it do? It would.
Oh no, it's fine. I see. Okay, so let me just go last value and then public. No, it's not about the scoping. It's just I'm just being dumb. Get last value. Okay, just because I'm just trying to think of an example and I'm not very good at just thinking up something like this. That's all. So, all right, let's see. I don't know if this is going to do it. So just like bear with me for a moment. I had to go and do something.
Who is this smart bear that we keep seeing? And who is this swagger?
So swagger is something that you can request as a getting added, and it's just an explorer to help you explore your API. Hang on, let me just do this. I can't, I'm obviously, my brain is failing me, so I'm really sorry. Hang on. Let's go. Okay, so I've got one where we're going to multiply by 5 and one where we're going to get the last value. Okay. I can't, sorry, Thindle, I know you're offering up something there, but it's really small and far away. And I've got this idea in my head and I'm just going to run with it. Multiply by 5 alt. Okay. So let's just run this and imagine that multiplier alt is a different request in a different browser or someone else using it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
No, I know you're trying to help. I'm just like, I'm lost in my own head. So I'm just acknowledging that I know you're adding stuff and I'm not ignoring it on purpose. I'm just like lost. Okay. So we got 0.
Yeah.
All right. So user 1 is going to come along. So remember, this is a singleton, and they're going to try it out. And we're going to give it a number, which is, I don't know, 10. Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to execute that. Now, if I go and we've got 50. Now let's go and get the last number. And that's 50. Do you see it's held onto the state? Yeah.
Oh, even though they're different users, it's just going to be like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I could show you, like, I don't know how to emulate a different user, but I guess a different browser.
Doesn't matter at all. I was just trying to follow what you were teaching.
Okay, so let's just say someone else comes along to the same app, the same browser, and they're like, oh, I want like 22. Let's try it out. Okay, I want 22 by 5. So they execute it. Okay, and then user 1 goes, oh, what was that thing I last got? What did I get? What was it? And they come here, expecting to get 50. but they get 110. Wait, what? They're like, oh, why have I got that? That
Whereas
type of thing.
scoped it's to.
I mean, this is a really bad example, Alyssa, but I'm just trying to sort of say that
No, I just want
it's
to
because it
reiterate.
doesn't really hold up, but I can't think of anything else right now. But I just want to try and say that it's holding the data now. Okay.
Right.
But if we did one that was like scoped, it would come along and it would be like encapsulated to that user, which isn't really true, but it's kind of true. But I'm just trying to say, if I was doing, I'm trying to show something in a really bad way, and I'm really sorry because the way I'm trying to explain it is it's just hello, sweetheart.
Duca said tried another tab. If we did it in another tab, would it scoped? It would still be the same because it's coming from
one instance. Okay, so you could see that this would be bad if this was someone's personal data. So let's just imagine, it doesn't hold true if you have it scoped either, because it would be another request, but maybe you were doing something. But what I'm trying to say is that if you are holding, I was just trying to give like a almost pseudocode. Okay, it doesn't really hold up, but what I was trying to say is if this is holding on to data in some way, it's best not to do it as scoped, because this might be getting data from, I don't know, like a database or something. It may be getting it from somewhere else, and that's where I got kind of lost on trying to actually show you this working, but where I just wanted to do pseudocode, that you have this, hey, I want to hold on to this data. I want some kind of container to keep this data. And if I keep, if I have it a singleton, it's that one instance for the entire application.
This is so cool though. Like even you showing me how, like, because I know you weren't trying to teach me how to build an API, but you kind of showed me how to like start building out your API along with dependency injection. So this is really, really cool. We
can totally build out an API on another stream.
If I wanted to generate this kind, you went to in Visual Studio, you chose the what was it? It was like a web API option.
Yeah. So there's two flavors. So all I wanted to say with that singleton is that if this is here, this value is going to be the same value for everybody across who is using this application until this application dies. Okay. If you have it scoped, it's, you see it, that value will stick around until the web server stops. And this one instance will be used for everybody. Okay. Everybody in the entire, who comes to this
like
app.
could save on a lot of computing time, right? Like if it's the same piece of information that everybody wants, or no?
It could do, if that's what you want, if that's what the behavior is about, knowing what the application is doing and what you need it to do. Hello, Gerald.
King Gerald just dropped in. One example would be if you're a bank.
There you go. Everyone would get the same balance.
The same
I've just been struggling, okay? But you don't want everyone to get the same result back. You want them to get their own unique result, okay? So that's it. Thindle says don't use it. That's why I want to say, if it's just processing something, doing something to the data, multiplying the value, that's harmless, isn't it? It's an operation on the data. If it needs to retain
that's
the data,
so funny, because right at the beginning I thought this was the safe one. He is not the safe one.
No, this is not the safe one.
Okay.
This is the one. Oh, Gerald.
I'm like frying poor Layla's brain. She needs to go have some cookies and lay down.
I'm a morning person, okay? So my cognitive abilities really die off after 3 p.m. I mean, it's terrible that I work for a US company where I actually have to talk to people and they're coming online at like 3 p.m. or something. And I'm just like, what brain is dead. So.
Okay. So would you say that Scoped is a safer option to reach for
I
them?
use Scoped. I like Scoped. The safest, like most throwaway option, like Napalm said, is transient, because you get a new instance every time, so it retains no data. Okay. So if you had an operation, like you had your request and you're like, here's a number and I need you to hold on to it and I need you to do some operations on it, and then we're going to like do some other stuff with it, and that's it, that's scoped, would be great. Okay. But then I don't want anyone else to have access to it, that's scoped. Okay. If you're like, I want everyone to have access to this, then singleton. Or if it's not holding on to anything, it's just like it's acting on the data and it doesn't have, it's just like this conveyor belt.
We've got some websites that we check, like for like Destiny, the video game we play, and we're like, hey, where is this activity today? Or what is, it's like basically like it changes once a day. But so that I don't have to go and find that information, there's this service that like does that. And I feel like that would be pretty safe because every single user is looking for the same piece of information.
Yeah.
But I could see how like with anything outside of rare use cases, it's like very like a bank,
no,
right?
I use singletons a lot. Okay.
Okay.
So like if we go back to here, my waffle, let's go and look at these services. Okay, so
so you mentioned Entity Framework 2 earlier, and Napalm's mentioning it, and it totally made me like cross my eyes because I was like, I don't know what you're talking
Entity
about.
Framework is a stream on its own. Okay.
Wait, so I'm gonna name this stream Entity Framework and Lifecycle Hooks? No, Lifecycle.
No Entity Framework. Oh, what, the other one that we're gonna do?
No, I'm saying if I wanted to ask someone to teach me about this, I want to ask for like
You need
scoping an entity
Julie
framework.
Lerman. You know Julie.
She knows?
The queen of entity framework. So you need to ask Julie very nicely if she will come and give you a starter thing on entity framework. She is the person to give you all of that.
Do you like entity, Layla?
Yes, I use entity framework. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to show you that I use this as a scoped, okay? Because this is this is a singleton. All right. I create it, and all it does is it goes and gets an API response. It goes here and returns me ingredients. Okay.
Yes, I see.
So, if this was storing the ingredients,
yes,
like as a singleton, so say this is a singleton and it stores it, that would be bad because it would never go and refresh.
Is that what this person was saying about a database and it keeps it open forever? What the flip does that even mean?
So, because it's making the connection. So remember what I said about disposables, right at the beginning.
But we don't have to worry about that, right? Or we do have to worry about
We do have to worry about that because you don't want open connections unless you want an open connection. Okay. So if you use a scoped, it will close the connection. If you use a transient, it will close the connection because it will dispose of it. The life cycle handles the disposal. And I didn't get into any of the stuff I was going to tell you about, like managing the life cycles and what it does, because we got waylaid, which is always the fun of streaming with you. And we're well over time.
I know. I'm sorry.
Do not apologize. Do not apologize.
I honestly, though, I know we always set out to like learn XYZ and we end up learning half of X, but I'm so grateful for it. And it opens my eyes to other things I need to start digging into. So I'm just so grateful for you and your time and your brain. Even though you say you have fuzzy brain, it's still sharper than mine.
My brain just went, okay? It just went mushy. So we could totally you could do you know who would be great to come on and talk to you about building a web API? You haven't met Irina, I don't think, have you?
Wait. The name sounds familiar.
Because I told you, like, Irina's coming to DevReach, isn't she?
I thought so.
Yeah, so you'll meet her there, but I don't think you've actually met Irina.
She's like the web API queen.
She just wrote a book on it that I just was her technical editor. Can you believe this dingbat was her technical editor or technical reviewer? Because my brain functions when I'm not on stream. So she's just she's completed a book on web API for beginners. So she'd be a great person to teach you.
Yay! I am
And she's
adding that
lovely, and she's an
along with
amazing
my
teacher.
hunting down Julie for EF. I'm adding that to
Yes.
my people to track down.
So, like, we didn't cover. I know you were interested in what minimal APIs were and stuff like that, but we can do that on another stream. We kind of went way off on a tangent. So like we sort of half did a bit of DI,
Okay,
and
which
we did
part
a
did
whole
we
load of
not
other things.
cover so that I can make a note of it?
I
What did we not
don't know. Like,
Well, you said the life cycle clean. I think cleanup is really what we didn't cover.
the disposal. So
Disposal in DI. Okay.
and like code smells of
Oh.
incorrectly adding stuff to the DI where it doesn't
Oh.
manage the life cycle.
Ooh, okay. And like not to just use singletons everywhere is definitely my takeaway.
Use the right life cycle for what you want.
Use the right one. No, Thindle, I love you. I didn't mean to call you this person. Sorry. I was like, this person said this. They were offended. I apologize. I want you to go rest and eat more gummies if you're into that sort of thing.
No, I am going to have a cup of coffee and go and play more Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Excellent. Thank you, my love. Enjoy your evening, and I will see you on the next time.
Thank you for having me on.
Mwah! Bye, everybody.